cycles. Dance tayo. So, wala natin is Aguilar, Billy, Kunag, Morito. So, silang tatlo. Okay. So, good morning ulit class. So, we are down to the last chapter for this semester, which is the introduction to thermodynamic cycles. So, starting from today, so today is week 14, up to the week before your final exam, we are going to discuss thermodynamic cycles. So, everything will be uh, revolving around thermodynamic cycles. Okay, so the topics that we will be discussing. So, sorry, I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know if it is visible now. Okay, thank you. So, as mentioned, no, everything that will be discussed from today up to the last day before your final exam will be about thermodynamic cycles. So, from your previous semester, may I know up to which cycle were you able to cover?
Diesel cycle po.
Diesel cycle. So, you're done already with auto? With auto diesel. How about Sterling and Ericsson?
Hindi po na-discuss yung dalawa.
So, you covered already auto and diesel. No? So, we still have, let me just check. So 14, 15, 16, 17. Your final exam will be on the 13th. So we still have 3 weeks, including this week, to discuss thermodynamic cycle. So hopefully we will be able to cover all. So based on our syllabus, the topics that we will be discussing are: first is the power cycle and refrigeration cycle. So these are merely definitions and concepts. Next is the Carnot cycle. Then third is the introduction to internal and external combustion gas cycle. Fourth topic will be vapor cycle. And then last topic will be refrigeration cycle. Okay? So objectives for this chapter are: first is students will be able to evaluate the performance of gas power cycles for which the working fluid remains as gas throughout the entire cycle. Next objective natin for this chapter is that the students will develop simplifying assumptions applicable to gas power cycles. Third is we'll have a review of the operation of reciprocating engines. So this is more of the combustion cycle. And fourth objective natin is the students will be able to analyze both closed and open gas power cycles. So closed meaning this is on the piston cylinder, open meaning this is more on the turbines, compressors, pumps, etc., or heat engines. And then fifth objective natin for this chapter is that you guys will be able to solve problems, of course, based on Otto, Diesel, Stirling, and Ericsson cycle. Okay, so those are our objectives. Okay, so to start, we have two important areas of application of thermodynamic cycles. First one is power generation and second one is refrigeration. So what do you think, guys, is the difference between the two? Anyone, you can raise your hand. What is the difference between a power generation and a refrigeration cycle? Class, anyone? Yes, Miss Agbon.
Ma'am, para po sa akin, ang power generation po, doon po nagge-generate ang power. Yun po yung pinaka main topic po ng cycle sa power generation.
Mm.
While sa refrigeration, nandoon naman po yung mga system po sa refrigerator, sa mga air conditioning, mga pagpapalamig po. Ayun po yung umiikot yung cycle.
Okay, thank you, Miss Agbon. So, as Miss Agbon mentioned, no, power generation is more focused on the uh, by the word itself, no, generating power. So we have a net power output in this type of application. So example for this are, let's say, the turbines in some power plants that are utilizing steam to produce power. Example is, if you know Siemens, no, in Santa Rita. So that's one example of a power generating plant. Next one is refrigeration. So under refrigeration class, it is not only limited to systems that are what you call parang cooling systems, no. Under refrigeration, we also have here, aside from refrigeration and air conditioners, we also have here heat pumps, no. So hindi lang siya. So these are devices or systems used to produce a refrigeration effect. So under refrigeration, we have refrigerators, air conditioners, heat pumps, and all of them are operating or is operating under refrigeration cycles. So later on, we are going to deep dive more on these two areas of application. Next class. So are we clear on the difference of the two applications? Sige nga, Miss Kalingasan, what can you repeat or can you discuss? What is the difference between the two?
Ma'am, kapagka po power generation, usually po yun po yung pinaka-energy source po ng mga thermodynamic systems. Tapos kapagka naman po refrigeration, parang doon na po umiikot yung magiging output po.
Output of?
Output po ng mga cycles po.
Okay, so to repeat no class, power generation is more of generating power. So you will have here the work being generated by your system or power being generated by your system or energy generation. And then for refrigeration naman again, these are systems that are used to produce a refrigeration effect. So dito papasok yung ating mga HVAC. For example, we have the air conditioners, refrigerators, or heat pumps. So have you heard already of the acronym HVAC? Class? Are you aware of the acronym HVAC? Mr.
Yes po.
Sakin, what is HVAC?
HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning po.
So, yes, that's correct. So, that's why class thermodynamics 1 is very important since after this course or after this, after this course, the thermodynamics 1, you are going to proceed with the next application of thermodynamics, which involves HVAC, no, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So, if your thermodynamics 1 is not that uh, like your foundation is not that strong, or you're not well versed with the concepts of thermodynamics, then it will be hard for you to proceed with the other applications, or sorry, other areas of application, no. So yeah. Okay, so next we have the two general categories of thermodynamic cycles. So we have power cycles and refrigeration cycles. So this is just similar as this with what I mentioned earlier. So general category niya. So we have power cycles, which involves engines like heat engines, or we have here turbines, compressors. And then for refrigeration cycles again, we have air conditioners, refrigerators, and heat pumps. So those are the two general categories of thermodynamic cycles. So first one is areas of application, then this one is the two general categories. So anyone, can you repeat what I said? What are the examples of power cycles and refrigeration cycles? Sayus? Sayus? Please give me an example of a power cycle and an example of refrigeration cycle. Mr. Angeles? Class, are you listening? Mr. Batas? Okay, Mr. Sayus.
Hello po.
Yes,
Bale,
Mr.
umalis po ako
Batas.
sa power cycle pero ang alam ko po yung power cycle ay basta po sa engine. Well,
Mm,
sa refrigeration cycle po is air conditioner po, mga heat pumps,
mm.
and mga parang HVAC po.
Okay, very good. So, that's correct. Now, let's proceed to other categories or categorization of thermodynamic cycles. So, we have gas cycles and vapor cycles. Mr. Anorico, can you
Yes po, ma'am.
define can you define what is a gas cycle?
Ma'am, paulit nga po.
What is a gas cycle?
Behavior po ng gases po.
Yeah. But
Yung
in okay, continue.
Carnot cycle po, Rankine cycle. Tama.
Parang choppy ata.
Behavior of gases po, ang gas cycle. Tapos, ang mga common gas po niya ay yung Carnot cycle, Otto cycle. Rinig po ba, ma'am?
Yes, yes. How about vapor cycle?
Brayton cycle po.
Brighton. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anrico. No? So, in gas cycles, the working fluid remains in the gaseous phase throughout the entire cycle. So, remember, in gas cycle, in gas cycles, the working fluid remains in the gaseous phase all throughout the entire cycle. So, in vapor cycle naman, the working fluid exists in the vapor phase. Fluid exists in the vapor phase. During one part of the cycle, and in the liquid phase, during another part. Again, in gas cycle, the working fluid remains in the gaseous phase. So from the initial state point up to the final state point. Let's say you have four parts in your cycle. So the fluid remains in gaseous phase all throughout the entire cycle. While in vapor cycle, your fluid exists in the vapor phase during one part. So let's say in refrigeration, there's a phase there that your refrigerant is in vapor, and there is a phase or there is a part that your refrigerant is in liquid phase. So depending on which process your working fluid is undergoing. So let's say we have uh, isentropic compression. So in isentropic compression, you are increasing the pressure of your refrigerant, but your volume is decreasing. So when you decrease the volume and increase the pressure, you can have there a change of phase. So that's an example of a vapor cycle, yung ating refrigerator or yung process ng ating sa refrigerant. So from state point 1 to state point, for example, we have four state points, there is a change of phase from vapor to liquid or from liquid to vapor or vice versa. Okay? Next, another uh, categorization of a thermodynamic cycle is you can categorize it as an open cycle and a closed cycle. So I already mentioned this earlier. Who still remembers the difference or an example of each cycle? I mentioned to during start of this discussion. What is the difference between a closed cycle and an open cycle? This was also discussed during the start of the semester. But we have thermodynamic system, the closed and open. So this is somehow similar to that. Can anyone please try to explain the difference between a closed cycle and an open cycle? Yes, Mr. Hossa?
Kapag po closed cycle, ma'am, yung working fluid po ay return sa initial state at the end of the cycle at recirculated po.
Mm.
Tapos kapag naman po open cycle, ang working fluid po ay renewed at the end of each cycle instead na recirculated po.
Okay, can you give an example of a closed cycle? Yes, Dave, Simon. For a closed cycle? Mm-hmm. Okay, so one example of a closed cycle class is, let's say, yung power generating plant using steam. So, in that example class of a closed cycle, di ba, you have your steam. So, let's say, initial state point of your steam is at saturated or subcooled liquid. And then after undergoing a process, your subcooled liquid becomes saturated liquid. And then after undergoing a process, your liquid or your steam becomes saturated vapor. And then after a process, it is being superheated. Let's say you have a boiler, and then after going to boiler, it will go into the turbine, and then yung turbine na yun, magkakaroon ka ng work. And then after ng turbine, you will have your steam in the saturated vapor state again. And then after, let's say you have a condenser in the refrigeration cycle. Let's say you have a condenser, and then in the condenser, your superheated vapor or your saturated vapor will then go to the condenser, and it will become again a subcooled liquid. So, initial state natin is a subcooled liquid, and then final state natin is also a subcooled liquid. So, this is a closed cycle. No? So, that is an example of a closed cycle. In an open cycle naman, you have one example of an open cycle is your combustion engine. No? For example, if you have a car, diba, in a combustion engine, you have your air entering the system for the fuel to undergo combustion, because you need air, you need oxygen. And then after the combustion process, you have your exhaust. So you have your byproduct. You have your, let's say, carbon monoxide and other elements. So that is an example of an open cycle. So your air is being replaced with a fresh one after it undergoes the combustion process. So see the difference, class? Is it clear? The difference between a closed cycle and an open cycle? Mr. Gonzalvo?
Ma'am, pwede pong paulit po nun sa closed cycle.
So, in a closed cycle class, one example is, ano na lang natin sa refrigeration. So, di ba, in a refrigeration cycle, you have your refrigerant, and then your refrigerant is in a closed system. So, it will undergo, or it will go to your evaporator. So, in an evaporator, you have your heat added. So when heat is added to your refrigerant, it will go to a vapor state. Could be superheated vapor. And after it goes to a superheated vapor state, it will go to your condenser. Do you know which is the condenser in your refrigerators? Anyone here? Do you know which is the condenser in your ref at home? Kasi discuss ako ng evaporator, condenser, and then you don't know pala which part yung dinidiscuss ko. Do you know, class, which is the condenser in your refrigerators? Sino dito yung nakaabot pa na nagsasampay ng... Di ko alam kung inabot niya pa ha, since you are still young. But who still knows that the part of the refrigerator wherein you hang your clothes para matuyo? Wala na nakaabot. Anyway, okay lang. Yun yung parang coil class na black if naabutan nyo pa siya. So that is already the condenser class. So yung condenser, if mapapansin nyo, if you'll notice, your condenser is quite hot. No? If you notice, it's quite hot because that is where the heat is being rejected. That's why it's hot. So in the condenser, you have your refrigerant entering at a very high temperature. Then it after it goes to your condenser, yung output natin sa kanya is liquid state na, yung refrigerant. But still high pressure, no? And then after your condenser, you have your throttle valve. So yung function of your throttle valve is it is where pressure drop is happening. So from a high pressure refrigerant, it will lower the pressure of your refrigerant. So babalik na sa liquid state yung inyong refrigerant. So do you know naman, class, where is the evaporator part of your refrigerator? Diba you have the condenser na nasa labas na mainit. Alin naman yung evaporator? Any guess? Which is the evaporator in your refrigerator? Take a guess, class. It's okay if you're wrong, di naman ako magagalit. I won't be mad at you if you answered wrong. Which is the evaporator in a refrigerator? Do you have ref at home? Have you seen a refrigerator? Aware naman lahat, no? Sa refrigerator. It's where you put your food, and then the food will be cooled, or if you put, for example, an ice or your water, then pag pinut mo siya sa freezer, it will be frozen. So that's the refrigerator, no? So now, question class is, which do you think is the evaporator? Diba? Yes, Mr. Robert Paul?
Yun po yata yung yun po yata yung nakapatong sa condenser. Yung para pong mga grills.
Ano na yun? Condenser na yun siya. Yung parang grills
Part.
na black. Condenser na siya.
Akala ko po yun iba. Akala ko po iba pa.
It's okay. Wise guess, class, which is the evaporator. Remember, in an evaporator, class, that is where your heat is added into the system, in the refrigeration system. So where do you think is heat being added in your system? Miss Shane? Correct. Yeah, correct. It could be in the freezer. Paano, class? So that this is how our refrigeration system is working. So, diba, you have your food or your water, and then you put that inside your refrigerator. The wall itself of a refrigerator, yung inside wall of your refrigerator is already the evaporator, class. So that is where the heat from your food, so the heat is being rejected from your food, but the heat that is being rejected from your food is being added as heat on the refrigeration system. Again, diba, you have your walls. in your refrigerator you have your walls. So that is that is where the heat is being added to your refrigeration system. So kumbaga sa Tagalog is doon niya yung heat from your food doon niya tinatanggap. Doon napupunta yung heat from your food. Do you, do you understand what I'm saying? So, ganun siya, class. So, and then yung heat from your food, if we go to the refrigeration cycle, that is your QA or your heat is being added in the system. And then, di ba yan, when your heat is being added in your system, the refrigerant will then be compressed, and then after compression your pressure, the refrigerant's pressure will become high, and then after it will go to the condenser para yung heat na kinuha niya sa loob ng ref mo will be released na to the environment. So sa condenser nangyayari yung heat rejection from the refrigerant to the environment through the condensers. Clear? Nabivisualize niyo ba yung sinasabi ko? Okay. Yun lang. So, that is a closed cycle class, no? Since we have our refrigerant as the working fluid or our working substance, and then it starts with in a liquid state, and then it becomes superheated vapor or saturated vapor, and then after that it will be in liquid state again. So that's a good example of a closed cycle. Clear, Mr. Warren Gonzalvo?
Oh,
Can you repeat what is a closed cycle?
based po dun sa example niyo po kanina na yung sa refrigeration cycle po, ang nagets ko po is sa yung refrigerant po sa closed system, pupunta po siya sa evaporator. Then, when heat is added po to the refrigerant, pupunta naman po siya sa vapor state. Then, masusuperheat po siya. After po nung superheated is mapupunta po siya sa super vapor state. And
Saturated?
ano po?
Saturated
As
vapor?
a saturated vapor state.
Mm-mm.
Then, it will go po to the condenser po. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na metal sa likod ng ref.
Mm-mm.
Then, yun din pong condenser is where heat is being rejected. Then, yung output po noon is liquid state in high pressure. Then, after po ng condenser is ang mangyayari po is from high temperature is magdadrop po yung temperature to a very low temp.
Pressure siya. So, from high pressure to low pressure using a throttle valve.
Okay.
Okay. So, very good, Warren. So, class, is everything clear now? Is it clear now to you the difference between a closed cycle and an open cycle? Okay. Okay, now we are going to proceed to the topic of basic considerations in the analysis of power cycles. So as you know, class, we always have an ideal state and the actual state in everything. So let's say in a thermodynamic system, our ideal state is that there is no friction happening between our working substance and the surface of which wherever the fluid is flowing. That is the ideal state. But in reality, there is always friction between your working substance and the walls of example in your pipe. There's a friction between the fluid and the pipe. So that's the reality. But in for the sake of simplification of calculations later on, I will discuss to you the considerations that we are doing for us to be able to compute for the parameters needed in a thermodynamic cycle. Let's say for us to compute for or to calculate for the work being produced in a turbine or the heat and everything, we are going to assume several uh, several factors or several considerations for the sake of simplification ng computation. But first, let us discuss heat engines. So what do you think, Les, is a heat engine? What are heat engines, class, from your previous semester? Class, this is just a review. Okay, Mr. Ginhawa said that heat engines are responsible in converting heat to work, which is correct. So heat engines, class, are designed for the purpose of converting thermal energy to work. So what do you think is an example of a heat engine? Dave. Correct. So, in steam engines now, as I don't know if I mentioned earlier, you are converting the heat that the steam contained into work using turbines in a steam engine setup. So a high pressure, high temperature steam is going to enter in a turbine, and then since you have there your velocity, etc., your internal energy, your enthalpy, then those, those will make the turbine move where your your shaft is connected to a, let's say a generator, and then that is where your power is being generated. So that is an example of a heat engine. Again, you have a high temperature, high pressure steam going to to your turbine, and then doon it will make the turbine move. Do you know naman ano yung itsura ng turbine? Bawa may turbine ako ng turbine, but you do not know how a turbine looks like. Class, you can search it in Google now. Search it. Turbine. You can try to look in Google. Steam turbine. And then as you can see there, it has parang blades. Parang sa electric fan. Pero marami yung sa turbines, no? So that is where your steam is entering. And then sometimes also, so your steam is entering at high temperature, high pressure, and then it will make the turbine rotate. While your turbine is connected via shaft into generator, and that is how your power is being generated. Okay? So far, in terms of thermal efficiency. So from your previous semester, what is the thermal efficiency of a heat engine? By definition, first, what is your thermal efficiency? Cash? Yes, Mr. Panopio.
Ang thermal efficiency po yun yung ratio ng network po to the total heat input ng engine po.
Ratio of the network
Opo, to the total heat input po.
to the network. Ratio of the network to the
Total heat input po.
total heat input. So ratio of your network, this is your W net. So when you say net class, ano siya? Eliminated na yung other factors na nakaka-affect sa work. So this is network na, kumbaga ay paano ba? Halimbawa sa kitaan, na minus na dito yung, halimbawa nagbenta ka ng, may business ka, nagbenta ka ng siomai, and then, di ba may mga operating cost ka, meron ka talagang cost sa pagbili ng siomai, yung mismong profit mo, na outside, kumbaga bawas na yung presyo ng lahat, that is already the net. So in thermodynamics, in thermal efficiency, your net worth is the work na na-produce na ng iyong system, eliminating all other factors. Okay? So this is the ratio of the net worth. So ratio meaning meron kang net worth over total heat input. Total heat input is your Q in, or sometimes itong Q in na to is denoted as QA. Heat input is the heat added. So that is just the same. So your thermal efficiency is equal to the net worth over the heat input. Remember this formula. So it's either net worth over QA or net worth over Q in. That is just the same. Okay? So let's now have a brief overview of a Carnot cycle. What is a Carnot cycle? And how do you think how would you compare Carnot cycle with other thermodynamic cycles or engines? How would you compare Carnot versus Otto versus other engines out there? Lagi ito kasama sa exam. What is the most blank 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 cycle? And the answer is Carnot. So how would you compare Carnot? Yes, Mr. Hassan?
Ma'am, ano po, compared po dun sa ibang cycles, ang Carnot cycle po yung most efficient.
So remember class, Carnot cycle is the most efficient thermodynamic cycle. Tatandaan again, Carnot cycle is the most efficient thermodynamic cycle. We will find out later why. Okay? So, recall that heat engines that operate on a totally reversible cycle. So, this is working in a totally reversible cycle. So, meaning you can bring back your working fluid from the initial state. So, if it's a subcooled liquid, then you can bring back your subcooled liquid after it becomes superheated or saturated. It can go back to the initial state, which is a subcooled liquid. So that is a reversible cycle already. So Carnot cycle, as Mr. Hawson mentioned, is the most efficient thermodynamic cycle of all amongst all heat engines. So later, i-derive natin yung equations or formula under a Carnot cycle. So it is a fact that nobody can develop a cycle more efficient than a Carnot cycle. So since kumbaga wala na, ito na talaga. Ito na yung pinaka-efficient na thermodynamic cycle that anyone in this earth will not be able to create or invent a cycle that is more efficient than a Carnot cycle. And we will find out why it is not being used in the real life application. So, ayun. Fact lang din, despite this cycle being the most efficient thermodynamic cycle, this is not being used in a real life setup. Okay? So, as mentioned earlier, we have idealizations and simplifications commonly employed in the analysis of power cycle. So, remember when we discussed the ideal gas, now we have the general assumptions. Para or for the sake of simplification ng calculation ng behavior ng gases. In a thermodynamic cycle, we are going to follow also a set of assumption or set of idealizations and simplifications for the sake of uh, easiness sa computation. So for the first one, can you read the first uh, simplification or assumption, Mr. Montañez? Sorry.
No, the cycle does not involve friction.
So, Mr. Montañez, sa tingin mo, in your opinion, why are we going to assume that the cycle is not involving friction? I mentioned this earlier already. Why do you think we should not consider friction? Anyone? Why should we not consider friction in calculating, uh, let's say, the work output, the heat, or anything related to a thermodynamic cycle? Yes. Mr. Trisha May. Miss Villanueva?
Hello po, paulit nga po.
Why do you think we should not involve friction in the calculation of a thermodynamic cycle? Lagi na lang si Mr. Hoson and Mr. Dave yung nakakausap. Sila lang yung gusto pumasa sa section na to. What's a friction ba, class? Anong friction ako ng friction? What is friction?
Ma'am, yun po yung parang pag-contact ng dalawang bagay.
Correct. And in terms of thermodynamics, why is friction affecting the performance of your engine? Why do you think, or how do you think will friction affect the performance of your engine? Class, this is just a review. I assume this is already discussed last semester. Miss Susana. Oh, let's define friction first. What is friction? Is it a force that what? What does friction do?
Friction is a force that acts between two surfaces po, that means.
It is the force that acts between two, let's say, two surfaces. And when you have friction, what happens? Miss Shane Kalingasan.
Ma'am, kapag ka po may friction, ang tendency po is na-oppose po yung motion or napapabagal niya po sa paggalaw po.
Correct. So, pag meron tayong, let's say, steam na nagfo-flow sa inyong pipe, what is the impact of friction doon? Again, the scenario is you have your high temperature, high pressure, high velocity steam entering your pipe. If your pipe has friction and it is opposing the flow of your steam, what happens, Mr. Falagno?
Ma'am, try lang po. Yun po ba maneneglect?
Yeah, kinetic energy is being neglected or is negligible. However, my point is how friction affects the performance of your engine. Miss Kalingasan.
Ma'am, kapag ka po, sabi niyo po kanina ay yun, pag po yung steam ay pumasok po sa mga pipes po ganun. Parang since nga po pipigilan po ng friction, magkakaroon po ng magdadrop po yung pressure since para pong babagal po ganun.
Yes, very good. No, that is correct, Miss Kalingasan. So, if you have class, a high pressure, high temperature, high velocity steam, and it is entering your pipe, let's say you have a long pipe, and then if your pipe has a high coefficient of friction, so it is reducing your energy since it is a force opposing the direction of your steam. Let's say for example we have steam. So if you have a force opposing, ano ba equation niya? Di ba pwedeng the force of the steam minus the friction. So bababa yung, let's say, yung energy na contained doon sa inyong steam. Parang halimbawa sa paano ba? Halimbawa nagsa-slide kayo. And then yung pagsa-slide nyo is a rough road. 'Di ba? Hindi na kayo halos gagalaw because there's a high coefficient of friction in a rough road. So hindi smooth yung flow of steam from the pipe going to the turbine, for example. So there is already an energy loss in your system if you have a high friction. So for simplification, in a thermodynamic cycle, we are going to neglect friction, the force being produced through friction or yung opposing force sa flow ng ating working substance. Am I clear, class? Why should we not involve friction in the computation? Because if we are going to involve that class, we are going to consider not just the friction on the pipe. We are also going to consider the friction in your turbine, the friction in your compressor, the friction in your pump, the friction in your heat exchanger, the friction in your boiler. Because all of those things, class, ay may friction. No? So, again, for the sake of simplification, we are not going to involve friction or yung loss due to friction. Maliwanag? Is it clear? Adam, is it clear? Why should we not involve friction? Adam, yes? Is it clear? Okay. So next one, can you read please, Adam? What's the next simplifications that we are going to apply?
All expansion and compression processes take place in a quasi-equilibrium manner.
Quasi-equilibrium manner. So class, what is a quasi-equilibrium manner? Anyone who wants to guess what it means when you say the process takes place in a quasi-equilibrium manner? Mr. Barola, what does it mean?
Rinig po ba?
Yes.
Ang ano daw po ay based on definition po, ang quasi-equilibrium daw po is the time rate of change of the process is slow relative to the time it takes for the system to reach the thermodynamic equilibrium po, ma'am.
Can you explain?
Parang ano daw po, nagiging mabagal daw po siya. Para bago po siya umabot dun po sa thermo-equilibrium po. Para po space po sa aking analysis yun ay para din po siyang papabagal like friction po.
We are not considering friction.
Ano
But
po ba? Reversible daw, reversible po ang magiging process.
sige.
Tama po ba? Or mali pa rin to?
Explain ko na. Thank you. Thank you,
Sige po.
Anthony. Okay, so in thermodynamics class, quasi-equilibrium refers to a process that occurs so slowly that at each stage or at each process, the system can still be considered in equilibrium. So, meaning, kumbaga, walang change, hindi na di-disturb yung ating system. It's still in an equilibrium even if there is an expansion and compression happening. So, ang assumption is that the expansion and the compression stage, it happens so slowly that your system is still in equilibrium. Diba, ideally class, if there is an expansion and compression system, your there will be losses. Pwedeng energy, pwedeng mass. But for the sake of simplification again, we are considering or we are uh, thinking that the processes of compression and expansion is happening in a very slow phase only. That your system, even if undergoes compression and expansion, is still in equilibrium. Is it clear? I want you to understand everything before we proceed to the calculation class. Assignment ko later, or if you have free time, you should watch what happens inside an steam cycle. Just for you to visualize yung mga sinasabi ko, no? Or in a refrigerator, the behavior of the refrigerant, you can watch during your free time if you want, just for you to better understand everything that I'm going to say moving forward. Okay, para nasa same page tayo. Okay, so third one, please read, Mr. Valin.
Number 3, the pipes connecting the various components of a system are well insulated and heat transfer through them is negligible.
Okay, can you explain also?
Ma'am, sa base ko lang po dun sa binasa ko po is yung components po ng system ay insulated po, which is parang ano po, insulated. So, kung ma'am, ito pong sa heat transfer is through them is negligible po, is parang hindi po siya nagbabago. Parang yun po yung ano ko po.
Okay, so before I thank you, Mr. Valin. Before I explain, is everyone aware what an insulation is? Remember yung definition natin in an isolated system. Diba? We are assuming that in an isolated system, your system is completely isolated. But what does isolation mean? Para every term na nakakasalubong natin, you are aware of, para yung terms ay well understood by everyone, no? But ano muna yung isolation? When you say that your system is completely isolated, what does it mean, Mr. Tingting? Mr. Zorilla? Mr. Dim Malipot? Yes, Mr. Saki.
Kapag isolated po yung system, meaning po ay wala pong exchange ng energy tsaka exchange ng matter po.
Yeah, that's correct. And di ba, that's the definition of an isolated system. But what I'm asking guys is, what does it mean when a system is completely isolated? Yes, Mr. Valin?
Ma'am, ano ko lang po. Ma'am, pag completely isolated po is parang
Insulated.
insulated is parang ano po, yung naka-cover po or surround something yung yung which is material po or substance. Para
Very
po di makapasok yung para po wala pong makapasok or makalabas po.
Very good. So, yun class. When you say that, let's say for example, yung a pipe. You have a pipe. Alam naman ng lahat yung pipe. I assume. When you have a pipe, and then you have a very high temperature steam flowing dun sa pipe nyo. And let's say your pipe is not insulated. What happens? The heat from your steam, so we have convection, no? Halimbawa, superheated vapor. Convection. Heat transfer from your steam or from your superheated steam to the pipe. Let's say steel pipe. Magkakaroon yun ng heat. There will be heat transfer. And then from the pipe to the surroundings, if it is not insulated, there will be a heat transfer also. So there will be a heat loss from your steam, which translates to lower energy. So meaning if your pipe is not completely insulated, the heat from your steam will go out through the pipe and there will be a heat loss. So in this assumption class, in a thermodynamic cycle, when we compute it, we are going to assume that all our pipes or connecting pipes are completely insulated. That therefore, there is no heat coming out of the system, or there's no heat going into the system for pipes and other components. Are we clear on that? Okay, to summarize class, we have 3 simplifications. First one is that the cycle does not involve friction. So there will be no loss due to friction. Number 2, all expansions and compressions are happening in a very slow phase, that your system is still in equilibrium even though there is an expansion and compression happening. And the third one is that the pipes connecting the various components of your system is well insulated. Therefore, there will be no heat transfer from the working substance going to the environment or vice versa. Okay? So, it's already 8:28. And tomorrow, we are going to discuss the Carnot cycle and its value in engineering. Okay? So, if you have the book from last sem, do advanced reading, we will have recitation. And also, we are going to solve some problems under Carnot cycle. Okay, class? Do you have questions? Result of your quiz 2, wala pa. Hindi pa ako tapos. I'm not yet done checking your test papers. But I will inform you once done. Okay, so that's all, class. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.